Hello, my name is Crystal Barclay. I'm doing a lesson on fourth grade math. I will focus on Arkansas Math Standard 4.NF.B.4.C. Solving word problems involving multiplication of a fraction by a whole number, example by using visual fraction models and equations to represent the problem. The objective or goal that I'm focusing on in my lesson is that the student will solve a real-world problem involving multiplication of a fraction and a whole number correctly 8 out of 10 times using visual models such as number lines and or area models. The vocabulary is numerator, denominator, factors, multiplication, fraction, product, proper fraction, and whole number. To summarize the lesson, I will work as a special education teacher along with the general education teacher to teach students how to multiply a proper fraction and a whole number. I will lead one small group during student teaching, and the general education teacher will lead another small group. They will stay in these groups for 10 minutes, and when the timer sounds, they will switch.
Already done.
John. After these two groups are over, we will have 15 minutes for a guided practice or independent practice time. Each small group will be scaffolded to answer a real-world problem involving the multiplication of a fraction and a whole number. The amount of scaffolding provided by the teacher will vary based on the individual students in each group. Once the group time is over, the class will then work in pairs to solve a problem during guided instruction. Both teachers will be responsible for observing students and assisting students as needed, also leading questions to help students better understand the concept. Finally, students will solve the exit ticket independently using various models and strategies. The materials that I've chosen to use are crayons and colored pencils and pencils, blank fraction strips and labeled fraction strips, dry erase materials, the boards, markers, erasers, a homework sheet called A Piece of Cake for Everyone, chart paper, and chart markers. I chose crayons, colored pencils, and pencils for students to use in order to create picture models of the strategies that they use to solve the problems. I chose blank fraction strips for students who need their model to be a little more scaffolded, and I chose labeled fraction strips for students who needed a little bit more support for their work. I chose dry erase markers and boards for students who would prefer to do their problems and create their models on dry erase boards. Finally, I chose chart paper and chart markers.
Ms. Ford, if you're in the building, would you please go to the parking lot to move your car? Ms. Ford, if you're in the building, would you please go to the parking lot and move your car? Thank you.
Finally, I chose chart paper and chart markers to record student strategies to display for the class. The impact I think this will have on student learning, I believe that after this lesson, and hearing other students' work strategies, I expect students to have a deeper conceptual understanding of what it means to multiply a fraction and a whole number. For example, students will understand that 5 times 1/4 is the same as saying 5 groups of 1/4. Using picture models along with number representations will help students make the connection between picture representations and numerical representations. And through class discussion, they will have a deeper understanding of where they would use fractions in the real world. And anecdotal thoughts for the future. I will use data from this lesson to determine which students may need more scaffolding or more support to understand the skill and concepts being taught. I will also use the data to determine how long we need to focus on this particular skill or if we are ready to move on to the next lesson.